Hi, everyone. This is Tammy, owner of Worthyworthitpriceless, and today's podcast is titled, If God is saying no, then why are you saying yes? And the funny thing about this is we know if a situation isn't working out. We know if something isn't going the way that we've planned it. And we can kind of tell if God is saying no. Because a lot of times we be like, well, God, if it isn't what you want for me, please let me know. And God will let you know in his own little way. Something will end up happening. Someone will end up going away or end up telling you like, hey, this isn't working out for me, whether it's a friendship or something. We're always asking God, like, show me a sign. And sometimes we'd be like, somebody end up either telling us something or that person themselves be like, this isn't working out for me, this friendship is whatever or whatever. But the thing with us is that we still want to hold on. It is something about rejection that it seems as though we can't handle. And that's understandable. Rejection is not easy for anyone. And I'm not saying that you should always be accustomed to rejection. But what I'm saying is you should be mindful of what you pray for. And also ask God to prepare you for the no, if it should come or if that situation is a no. I know for myself, I used to be like, oh, God, please take this person away. Not saying for them to die or anything like that, but if this person isn't for me, whether it be friendship or anything, Lord, please take them out of my sight, take them away, blah, blah, blah. And like I said, not death or anything like that, but whatever. And what would always happen is God would show me a sign that that person was not for me, wasn't a friend or whatever. And what would happen is somehow I'll find a way to get back around them. Or I felt like I still needed them in my life. So I would sit up there and I would pray to God to bring them back. You see how stupid that sounds? And I say it's stupid because it's me, but for you, whatever. But the thing is, for me, like in hindsight, I'm like, that was the craziest thing because why am I sitting up here asking God for a sign? He gives me a sign. And then once that situation is over or whatever, he takes that person out of my life. And then I'm like, oh, but God, please bring them back. They were the love of my life. I didn't see what they were doing, and I didn't see that they was the one. And it was so crazy. And it was the funniest thing. And God was like, no, okay, whatever. And then he would bring them back or whatever. And then it was like, and then honestly, I was always either more miserable, more unhappy when that person was around. And it's like, why did I just ask for this? And then once again, you go back into a cycle of asking God to take something or someone away from you, and he already did it. And so for you guys, I want you to, one, be more mindful of what you pray for, but also ask God once again to prepare you for the no or the rejection if it comes. And hopefully have your heart closed off to that situation so that you don't continuously get yourself hurt over a situation that is not meant from God. And also ask God for divine connections, so that it's connections that comes from him. So you're not sitting around here opening up your heart to people that don't have your best intentions in mind, whether it's friendship, relationships, or whatever. Because a lot of times you have people around you and they really don't care anything about you. And you don't realize that until they have basically sucked the life out of you. And then you're going back to God like, well, God, can you please heal my broken heart? Could you, all this. And it's at the end of the day, a lot of times God is showing us the red flags early on, and we're not seeing them. And we're not saying, well, you know what? That's what God meant. Or this isn't going to work out. What we do is we make excuses. Sometimes we get to the point where we feel as though, oh, no, that wasn't a red flag. oh no, it was orange, it wasn't red, or we have a high tolerance level for something, and then at the end of the day we allow people to take advantage and then take over, and then all of a sudden we feel drained or we feel useless. So before we get to that point, let's stop that now. Let's stop it now. Let's pray for discernment so that we can see those red flags early on. And if God says no to something, please pray that God closes off your heart to that, so that you're not yearning for something that He doesn't want for you. Always realize that God has a divine plan for you. It is for good. It's not for evil. And I know it's hard because, it's honest, we can't see God or anything like that. And sometimes we doubt, like, are we really hearing from God or this, that, and the third? But know within your heart of hearts, God gives you discernment. You see the stuff that someone is doing to you or doing around you that you are not comfortable with or you're not cool with. Don't ignore those things. If God is giving you a no on any type of situation, accept that no and keep it moving as much as possible. I know it may be something within you that you might feel that this is the direction that God has called you to go into. But if God is saying no, please do not go down that path. And I'm telling you from example, from my own experiences, I know that, like, I'll sit up there and I'll say, just say, even like spending money on certain things, you be like, no, I probably shouldn't do this. And then you end up just pushing the send button, and then the payment goes through, and then the next day, then something else comes up. And you're like, man, I should have listened to my mind when, you know what I mean? And that's the thing. That's the same thing. Excuse me. God is trying to get us out of our own way. Stop sabotaging yourself. Stop making your life harder. You don't have to keep going around the same circle. You don't have to keep learning the same lesson over and over. You just have to pay attention to when God is telling you no, and accept His no. And the reason, and not saying that you have, oh God, please tell me why you're telling me no. No, just accept the no. You'll find out later on, God will always reveal it to you. And I've seen that over and over again. And I'm like, man, that's why I didn't go that path. That's why I didn't go that way. Because God is trying to stop you from a detour. He's trying to stop you from destruction. But if you keep going down that path, yes, God can use anything that you do. Even if you go down the wrong path, God can use those things. But it's better to just do it the right way instead of being disobedient and then God having to use that as a testimony or whatever. Not saying that even if you go God's way, there might still be, little detours or anything like that. But at the end of the day, just go His way and it'll be much better than what you're trying to think of, because our ways are not like His ways. And I know a lot of times for me, if I would have just listened, I would have avoided a lot of stuff. And so that's the advice I want to give you. If God is telling you no, realize that it's for a reason. He doesn't have to give you an explanation as to why. But know that if He's telling you no, it's for your own good. He loves you. He cares for you. He's not going to have you go down a path of destruction. And just like, oh yeah, I'm going to have her go down here or have him go down here, and then like laugh at you, because that's how people do. Some people give you advice to basically go right for a train wreck and just watch you crash and burn, and then be like, but that's not how God is. And we have to look at it as also realizing that God is not like man. God is not like people. He's not going to leave you, abandon you, or anything like that. He has a plan for your life, and it's for good and not for evil. And I know that sometimes when you're on this path, it seems like God is super silent. He's not silent. He's still working. But you have to trust in Him even when you can't hear them. And when you can't hear Him, think of the last thing that He told you to do and continue on that path. And He'll give you the desires of your heart. He'll give you the answers that you're searching for. And He'll give you that direction. All you have to do is ask. But once again, if God is saying no, please listen. Because a lot of times you may not get a second chance to hear a yes from him. Because depending on what decision you have to make, trust me, some people didn't listen to what God was saying and never made it out of their situations. So trust in God. Know that he has a plan for your life. Know that you are necessary. You are precious. You are worthy, worth it, and priceless. God has a plan for your life. It's not over for you. You're going to make it. And as always, you are worthy, worth it, and priceless. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Love you guys. Until next time. Bye.